Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Ripe for Reissue. And the Ripe for Reissue thing is this 5 CD set, Yefim Bronfman Plays Prokofiev. This is an absolutely marvelous collection. It always was. You get all the piano concertos and all the piano sonatas on 5 CDs, as I said, plus the overture on Hebrew themes with the Juilliard Quartet and a clarinetist. And it's just wonderful. Now, Bronfman is a pianist who seems to have kind of disappeared a little bit, at least as far as the discography is concerned. You know, he was one of those guys who he was going like gangbusters for a while. He was on a major label. He did this set. He did splendid Beethoven concertos with Zinman. Remember those? They're absolutely, it's one of the reference editions of the Beethoven piano concertos. They're extraordinary. The world's greatest triple concerto is in that set. Really a fine, fine artist. But, with the collapse of the entire classical music industry and, who makes records being determined by who has like money and sponsorship and God knows what, he hasn't been around as much lately, which is a shame because he really is marvelous. Now, this set of piano concertos, you've got there. Oh, the accompanist, thank you, is the Israel Philharmonic under Zubin Mehta. They do a very, very good job. The sonics are a touch dry, but good, and you have a nice bass response. And he does such great things. And the less familiar concertos, 2, 4, and 5. I mean, 2 is just banging. It's wonderfully exciting. 5 is brilliant. There are wonderful performances of all these pieces, of course, but this is a cycle that's really as good as any. In the piano sonatas, he's just as fine. It's one of the great Prokofiev piano sonata cycles. It's tough to do all the Prokofiev piano sonatas because they're very different from one another in length and in harmonic vocabulary. They're really curious. They're probably Prokofiev's finest overall collection of larger works. And so these are just terrific, like I said, and here they are. Now, here's the weird thing. This is the bit I really wanted to talk about because this box is not available, but these performances seem to be. That's why I thought I would chat about this. So I was tooling around on Amazon, as I am wont to do, just to see what's in print and what you can get and can't get. And I was very annoyed that this was not available because it was inexpensive. It's mid-pricey or less, 20 some odd bucks for a 5 CD set of some of the best Prokofiev out there. And I saw only one used copy of this for like 50 bucks. It was very expensive. However, the individual discs of the piano concertos, they're together on 2 CDs, and the piano sonatas on 3 CDs are indeed available. Well, what do you know? But they're available at full price, sort of, because you never really know these days what's actually in print and what's out of print, or you're getting it from a third-party seller, or it's overstock. I mean, it's impossible to tell. It really is. All I do know is that for like $15 to $17 per disc, you can get these 5 discs as they were originally issued. Now, I'm not saying that that's a ripoff. I mean, the original full price was worth the original full price. It was. But the really interesting question is, did Sony withdraw this or let it go out of print because they realized that they were giving away the store? I mean, a lot of these things, it's wonderful that they were available so cheaply. And you had to think, somebody at this label is just not very smart because you've got some of your best performances by your best artists and you're boxing them all up and tossing them out there and just giving them away, whereas you could be selling them at full price. One thing I do see in the record industry, and it's a trend, I think, a mini trend maybe. It depends on the label, depends who's running it, depends how smart they are, depends how well they know their own catalog, and usually you can't count on that. But if they do, it makes a lot more sense business-wise to leave the stuff in print and leave it in print at full price, because after all, full price is not we're not talking about, luxury goods here. You're talking about $15 roughly, $17, somewhere in there. I mean, people might not want to spend that much, but that's a different question. The question is, those who want it have to pay the price. And if you're offering it at a fair price, a reasonable full price disc, I don't think that's a bad thing. But I think it's a really bad thing if they had this and they did it once and then they undid it, and now you have to pay their full price to get everything separately. That irritates me. That really does, because it shows, a lack of seriousness, let's put it that way, on the part of the label. But I wanted to bring it up because it's an interesting case. So, these are wonderful performances. They're certainly worth hearing. You may not want to pay full price for them. It may be better to stream them or do it in that way to get a chance to listen to them. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the artist has to do with how their own legacy is handled or controlled anymore. I mean, it's all just so messed up. And this is a pretty juicy little piece of evidence for that. So keep on listening, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.